first things that people generally ask you is, what's your name, what do you do, and where are you from? So in Unit 6, they cover where are you from, tu viens d'où, or vous venez d'où, and then they also cover your professions. And one of the reasons they do that is because really what you're looking at are your adjective endings. For instance, if I say I am American, American is an adjective. If I say I am a nurse, even though it's not an adjective, it's still a noun, so it still has to agree with in number and gender. So adjectives and nouns, remember, have to agree in both number and gender. So behind me here, I have some of the more, I guess, obvious professions. And I want you to really look at your endings. You're noticing, obviously, femme, meaning woman. So this is your feminine list, or your female. And then this is your homme. And I always think of like a homeboy or a homie as a guy. So it's probably old school, but it works. And so this is your masculine section. So right off the bat, you're noticing, all right, this makes sense. Generally, you add an E. So the difference between Américain and Américaine is simply an E, which is the nationality. The difference between Chinois and Chinoise, which is Chinese, is simply an E on the end of those. And look in your book for those spellings and different things. But then you may see like Italien and Italienne, or Canadien and Canadienne. And what you're noticing there is that they double the last N and then add an E. Just like in informaticien, informaticienne. So those are your adjective or noun endings that change a little bit. Another one that changes a little bit is serveur to serveuse. Okay, so E-U-R in the masculine becomes E-U-S-E in the feminine. And we actually do this in English. So we don't have, like, for instance, an actress. If I could spell it, would be helpful. Actrice, right? Or in English, it's actress. But the male is not an actress or an actrice. It's an acteur. All right? I think it's E-U-R in French, but if not, it's O-R. It's got to be E-U-R. Acteur. So there's a difference there. And we do this in English as well. So I just wanted to kind of go over these. Sometimes when you're talking about professions, they just don't change. Dentiste with an E on it looks feminine. It's actually the same for masculine and feminine. Ingénieur, an engineer, does not change. Professeur is one of those that also does not change. Ingénieur, ingénieur. Male or female, it does not change. So that pretty much covers your nationalities and your professions. I just wanted to point out your adjective endings and your noun endings and how they change. The other thing that you have to remember when you're dealing with professions is that in English, if I want to say I am a doctor, I would use the word a, right? In French, you don't do this. It's almost like the more educated you get, you sound less educated. You just say I am doctor. You know, so it's like Tarzan, I am doctor. So you do not use that indefinite article or une when you are saying what profession somebody is. Now, if you wanted to point out that is the doctor over there, you know, c'est le médecin, là, that makes sense. You would use the, but you don't use a when you are talking about the profession that you are. So there you go. Adjective endings, noun endings. Remember, they match in number and gender with what's being talked about. And same with professions and same with nationalities as well.